In March of 2006, in my home just outside of Nairobi, Kenya, at about 3:30 in the morning, we heard our dogs barking, and I got up to look out the window from upstairs to see what was going on. And the next thing I know, I see between 20 and 30 men pouring through the fence, my guards squealing and running, grabbing my German shepherds and taking off. And here comes this group of men with bats and axes and clubs. I grabbed a club and went downstairs to meet them as they were coming in. And as they were breaking the windows, they were telling me that they were coming in to kill me and to take the things that I had. My 15-year-old daughter, 16-year-old daughter at the time, Kelsey, she saw what was going on and grabbed a baseball bat and came and stood by my side because she didn't want me to be fighting alone. They went around to another part of the house where we had huge plate glass windows. They broke these plate glass windows, and all of a sudden they just started pouring into the house like ants. The next thing I know, Kelsey was beside me and they threw a metal pipe, and somehow she got a little bit ahead of me and it hit her on the side of the face, and down she went and around these group of men. All I can remember is doing everything I could to get to her, to pick her up, to get her back up, and to get her behind me, and to get upstairs. By this time they had machetes, and I had been hit several times in different places, on my chest, on my side, on my back. Somehow my wife had managed to run to the kitchen, she thinks to get a padlock. But all of a sudden I found myself in a situation. I could hear my wife screaming in the kitchen. And I knew I had to make a choice. I could either stand and fight on the staircase and keep the men from coming upstairs and getting a hold of my children, or I could leave and they would get my children to go save my wife. The hardest decision I ever had to make was to be able to stand on those stairs and fight. This went on for about 2 hours. On the end of it, after they had finally left, there was broken glass and things broken everywhere. I was in my bare feet, and blood was on my chest and down my face. And I went in to see where my wife was, and they had beaten my wife with clubs. And she was shaking, sitting on the floor in the corner. They had taken the wedding ring off of her hand. She told me, she said, I didn't know what to do. She says, they were trying to cut my hand off because I couldn't get my wedding ring off fast enough. All I can remember before I would allow them to take me to the hospital was that we had to gather our family around and hold hands around our coffee table and pray and ask God to forgive them. Because I knew that we had to forgive them so that He could take care of them. The things that we need most is we definitely 100% need prayer. Being a missionary in today's world is not like it was so many years ago. The world has become a much harder place. There are many more things that are happening all around the world. Even in the 4 years that we've been in Kenya, it's not the same Kenya that it was 4 years ago when we started. So we desperately need the prayers of protection and strength. The next thing that we would need is we also need the support. Because we need that support in emails and finances. Because we can't continue to do the work that God's allowed us to do unless we have those things to continue to keep moving forward.